well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss Philip K. Dick's short story called The Cookie Lady. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. In this video, we are going to discuss about the major characters in the story. Then I'm going to provide you a detailed summary of what the story is about, and there are 4 major themes which I have outlined from the story, and I'm going to take it up each of them for discussion. Philip K. Dick was an American science fiction writer known for his imaginative and thought-provoking stories. He often explored the themes of reality, identity, and perception in his works. Some of his famous works include Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which inspired the film Blade Runner, and The Man in the High Castle, which represents an alternate history where the Axis powers won World War II. He was a very imaginative writer indeed. The story focuses on 2 major characters. We have Bubble Sir, a young boy who frequently visits Mrs. Drew, the cookie lady. And we have Mrs. Drew. She's an elderly woman living alone in a rundown house, known for baking cookies and offering them to the little boy Bubber. The story is set in a dilapidated neighborhood and follows a young boy named Bubber who regularly visits an elderly woman, Mrs. Drew, who is also known as the Cookie Lady as per the title of the story. Now, the central message of the story revolves around the themes of loneliness, the search for companionship, and yearning to be young again. It highlights the transformative power of human connection, how it can change individuals, and the consequences that are there in trying to find solace in an imaginative world. If you live in a world of illusion, that if you live in your comfort zone, if I may use a more relevant term for today, there are repercussions, and that is exactly what will happen in the story today. The story begins as a young boy walks down the Elm Street to visit Mrs. Drew, an elderly woman known as the Cookie Lady. Despite the run-down appearance of her house, the little boy finds comfort in the smell of the freshly baked cookies, and therefore he regularly makes an effort to visit her. On the other hand, Mrs. Drew warmly welcomes the boy and offers him cookies and milk because over time she has understood that the boy likes having cold milk with the cookies, so she readily agrees to offer that. The boy eagerly indulges in the treats while Mrs. Drew engages him in conversation, asking him about how his day was at school. Now, because of this connection that is developing, it is two-way connection we could interpret, because the boy comes here and has a conversation with the lady. On the other hand, perhaps when he is at home, his parents do not indulge in such conversations, so the boy is also getting someone to talk to here, and at the same time the boy's presence fills the loneliness of the lady. Now, as Bubber reads aloud to Mrs. Drew from his school books, she undergoes a mysterious transformation, becoming younger and rejuvenated. Mrs. Drew's energy occurs each time Bubber visits and sits close to her. She makes him sit on a couch, and there is a part in the story where this feeling of, young energy that goes through in her blood, in her body, it fills her up with so much energy, and she automatically feels that she needs to go closer and sit close to the boy, suggesting how a connection is developing between them, and it is leading to interactions and also adding to that youthful stage back in the lady's life. However, when Bubber announces his departure, Mrs. Drew's youthfulness fades away, leaving her old and lonely once again. Despite her request for him to return, the boy leaves because he is not aware of the impact his visits have on Mrs. Drew's emotional state. But there is a problem. Every time that the boy returns home, he is exhausted. He is just flushed out and tired. prompting concern from his parents because they do not like how the boy is losing his energy. They feel there is something that is not right whenever he visits the cookie lady. So they prevent him from visiting Mrs. Drew again due to the suspicions they have about her. Now Bubber's parents express their worry about his well-being and question that what is it that makes him frequently visit this elderly woman's house. So the mother also at one point over here tells that it's because the boy has fascination for food. Whatever you give him, he'll eat, and perhaps because he gets the cookies from the lady, he willingly loves to visit the lady's house. However, Bubber says that he has not informed the lady about him not going anymore, and therefore the parents agree that it is okay, you can go once more, and inform the lady that you will not be allowed to visit again. Now Mrs. Drew is utterly disappointed and she feels a sense of loneliness again, realizing that she will no longer get this companionship that she was getting from the boy. After this, Bubber bids Mrs. Drew farewell and leaves her house, making an end to their interactions. However, we see that Mrs. Drew is after this going to go to her room, and that energy that she feels one last time when Bubber reads out from another book that she offers to him, the energy is restored in her and she temporarily goes into a world of her own. Let me tell you about the symbolism of the wind over here. As Bubber is walking home through the wind and darkness, the wind blows Mrs. Drew's belongings against her porch, symbolizing the transient nature of their relationship and Mrs. Drew's fleeting comfort. That is how short-lived their interactions were. The wind therefore serves as a metaphor for the passing away of time and how human connections are not permanent. Whoever comes in your life for a reason and for a season. That season may last for however long, depends on universe, luck, destiny and other such factors. So the same thing is happening over here, that human connection between the boy and the cookie lady is short-lived. Bubber's parents express concern about the things that he would do because he just is completely flushed out, and therefore it raises those protective instincts in the parents. However, the story finally ends with Mrs. Drew alone in her house, reflecting on the brief moments of solace, comfort and joy she experienced during the boy's visit, as well as the loneliness that would now envelope her once again. The Cookie Lady has these four prominent themes, that is loneliness and isolation, desire for youth, illusion versus reality, and human connection. Let us decode them in details. First of all, let's talk about loneliness and isolation. Mrs. Drew's solitary life in an old broken house portrays the deep sense of loneliness and isolation that is experienced not just by her but by many elderly individuals. The only effort she would have to put in was to bake cookies, and in return she would get company of someone in her life. Her lack of meaningful human connection is evident in her eagerness to welcome the boy into her home and engaging in a conversation with him. Mrs. Drew's reliance on the boy for companionship highlights the universal need for human beings to establish connection whenever they feel isolated and lonely. At the same time, we see Mrs. Drew's transformation into a younger version of herself reflects the innate desire among human beings to reclaim their youth, energy and vitality. Her longing to recapture the physical and emotional strength of her youth is manifested in that temporary experience of energy whenever the boy would visit her. The desire for youth also highlights the universal fear of aging. Isn't it true? We see so many advertisements where they are providing you with anti-aging products because they have been able to enter into the human mind, and this insecurity that human beings have, that how would they look like, how would they be judged if they would look old. Even Snapchat filters for that matter. There is one Snapchat filter where if you use it, you can see yourself in an old or old state. The story also explores the themes of illusion versus reality through Mrs. Drew's temporary sparks of energy, which is dependent on the presence of the boy. While Mrs. Drew experiences moments of youthfulness during the boy's visits, the illusion of energy quickly fades away once he leaves, highlighting how there is a very temporary nature to this energy that comes to her. This contrast between illusion and reality highlights the deceptive nature of trying to find peace in temporary comforts you might have, or you might enjoy a cookie or a brownie with ice cream, and it may temporarily make you feel very happy because of the sugar rush, but later on you'll feel guilty for having put in so many empty calories into your system. That same thing is being spoken about over here. And lastly, when I talk about human connection, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that despite the fleeting nature of Mrs. Drew's sparks of energy, her interactions with the boy highlight the power human connection has to bring about a change in individuals. The boy's visits provide the lady with brief moments of joy, offering respite from the otherwise lonely life that she would lead every day. Through their interactions, the story emphasizes the deep or the profound impact of human connection in providing comfort and companionship even in the face of the harsh realities of life. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.